Stephanie, yes. Treasurer Joel,
Here.
trustee Olga,
Here.
and trustee Nick is excused.
Approval of the agenda, which we only got one item on there.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment.
Yeah. So, whatever happened to postcard notification for special meetings? Or did that just go by the wayside? Must have. You guys must be pretty desperate to hold a secret meeting like this.
It's posted in Facebook, it's posted on the door.
Oh, yeah, right, okay. So you call it at the last minute and you make sure it's at a day and time that nobody can come here, okay? Oh, boy, I think you're trying to hide something here. Olga, I can't believe that you approve of this. I'm done.
Any other public comments?
Question, not a comment. What is the agenda?
Oh, the agenda, we have an agenda up here.
It's up here.
Sorry.
Here's one right here.
Right here?
Yeah, so that's the resolution and there's the agenda.
Okay.
It's basically just, it's about,
Agenda? You want a resolution of what it's gonna be about? Did you get one of those, sir? Did you want?
I have one.
Oh, okay. Anybody else?
Thanks, Sharon.
You're very welcome. Gary, you want one?
another public comment?
With comment at the end.
Yes,
There'll
we
be a
did.
public comment at the end.
This is resolution 2023-05 about maintaining local control with our government versus the state coming in and taking over. So I'll let Steph take it from there.
So this is a resolution that has been circulating throughout all Michigan townships. As we're all very aware, there's a lot of state legislation going on about taking the control away from the local townships throughout the entire state for local land uses like short-term rentals, industrial solar installation, wind, sand and gravel mining. That's something that is being pushed with Governor Whitmer, and it's being decided upon and voted upon within the next month or so. So the townships, somebody had drawn up this resolution. It's a support resolution, meaning that if we adopt this today, we're just showing our support along with the other Michigan townships that have submitted it and approved it. I will actually send it to Lansing to say, hey, this is kind of where Milan Township sits. We don't want local control to be taken away from our constituents and our residents over what happens in our townships. They're the ones that live here, you know, so they should be the ones that decide what happens in our township. So that's kind of what this resolution is indicating. And it's outlined in each of the sections. So that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Any questions, Olga?
No.
Joe?
We already have control,
Mhm.
so we're just kind of sending a letter to the governor stating that we're keeping control.
Right, that we don't want, or we don't agree with the legislation that's currently on the books that could potentially take away our local control here. Because if it starts with this, it's just a trickle down effect at that point. There's a reason why there's local control. There's, you know, you got your townships, you got your cities, you got your state, federal. It's just so there's not a overabundance of power.
And we went through this a few years ago.
Did you?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
I'm sure it comes up on the books quite a bit. So, but like I said, this is just a resolution indicating that we're just expressing support, as it says in the title there, just a resolution expressing support. Just to show the state that all the townships are kind of banding together to say this is not how we want to move forward with things.
Does this take a constitutional amendment or not? You have to change the constitution?
I'm not sure how that's working up in the state. They do have to change the constitution. I think because it's so big, it's probably something along those lines. No different than when the election came through, what was it, Prop 2, that changed, that we have to do the 9-day voting, that was a constitutional amendment. So because of how much attention this is garnering, I'm sure it's something big like that,
But they think they can just do it by law.
yes. So then even if we have ordinances and everything, for, gravel pits and stuff like that, then the state could potentially come in and say, your ordinance are nor good, we're kind of taking over control. And we're gonna say we're gonna put a gravel pit here or wind turbines or wherever, even though our ordinances indicated something different.
All the other townships are in the process of doing the same thing. I think this came from Raisingville, didn't it?
This did come from Raisingville, and the reason that we're wanting to adopt this or look at adopting it soon is because this legislation is on the docket. I mean,
Right.
they're looking to, and so we don't want to be on kind of the back end to say, oh, I wish we would have supported this. Because, if you don't say anything, you're just agreeing with what's happening. So that's why I wanted to present it, soon and have us talk about it. Yes, Amanda?
Can I suggest that you read it out loud? Because unfortunately, I
Oh,
didn't have it
Yeah.
visually, so I couldn't.
Everybody
put it
has
up
a
on the-
copy, but would you like me to read it out loud?
Well, for
For
the
the Zoom?
people,
Okay.
yeah, for the people watching.
Okay, so it's a special meeting, it just has special meeting, the day and time. Resolution expressing support to maintain local control over local land uses, including but not limited to short-term rentals, industrial solar installation, industrial wind turbine installations, and sand and gravel mining. It's actually gonna be resolution 2023-04, and then the date is obviously today, the 25th. Whereas local townships are best able to determine which uses should and should not be in their local communities and what plans are best and reasonable for each neighborhood, rather than having these decisions forced upon townships by the state government without the township's best interest at hand. And whereas the legislature of the state of Michigan may propose and attempt to pass into law bills that strip away local community control over local land uses, including but not limited to short-term rentals, industrial solar installations, industrial wind turbine installations, and sand and gravel mining. And whereas the Board of Milan Township is committed to protecting our community's land from special interests trying to strip away local control. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Milan Township resolves as follows. Section 1, Milan Township is opposed to the legislature of the state of Michigan proposing and passing bills that take away or otherwise limit local control over local land uses, including but not limited to short-term rentals, industrial solar installations, industrial wind turbine installations, and sand and gravel mining. Section 2, Milan Township is opposed to the construction, operation, maintenance, repair, replacement, and decommissioning of industrial wind facilities, industrial solar facilities, land and gravel mines, and similar uses in our community unless these projects comply with township ordinance and regulations. Section 3, Milan Township supports the longstanding right of local community self-determination as provided by the laws and constitution of the state of Michigan. Section 4, as the members of the Board of Milan Township, we resolve to maintain the duties and responsibilities bestowed upon us as elected representatives by our constituents to execute their will to the best of our abilities in these manners. And then there's options for roll call, yes, no, and then if the resolution is adopted, and then the little blurb about the clerk. And then my signature.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see the lawyer's seen it,
Yes, Marty has seen
and
it.
it just says, his letter just says what this says, it just, as a resolution, it is designed to merely express the township support for local control.
Correct. Correct.
All right.
Sure.
So, this was in the MTA newsletter last month or even longer
Okay.
about supporting a lot of townships support having this resolution in place.
Mhm.
So, and they stated that it was gonna be a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't something small, and it had a lot of support from the townships. I mean, townships had to go through all this work, only to have it stripped away by Lansing? I don't think so. But I think everyone needs to do their due diligence in contacting the representatives and telling them exactly how you feel, you know, either for or not.
Mhm.
I am just asking another question. At this time, And I don't even know that I had the right to ask a question because, so thank you for recognizing me. At this time with the agenda and the way we've typed up things, public comments dead and gone, right, at this meeting,
No, there's
Nope,
a
there's gonna
second
be
public
another one.
comment. Yep.
before the vote.
Yeah,
No, not,
after.
not before the vote, be at the end of the meeting.
That's what we do in first and then we do in last.
Yep, all right. We already have this power. I've heard other good comments. There are a lot of places though also, since we're gonna use bulk sweeping words a lot or many, that don't have this sign. That find no reason to sign this. Just quickly, very quickly, with some of the sentences that I've read here about what we're talking about, these are very sweeping terms. I personally am uncomfortable with sweeping terms. Not just here in a township, but at the USDA, at the Michigan Department of Agriculture. This thing is covering a lot of ground really fast. And, if Joel is correct and we already have this, I see no reason, but everybody knows we have this. I think there's as many mistakes here signing this as there is not signing it. It just seems very fast to me.
Any comments on that?
Other than we're not really changing anything.
No.
It's just an expression of
It's just an
support
expression that you're sending to the.
to Lansing.
Lansing.
Yeah, it's not gonna change anything that we do on a day-to-day basis at this time.
Exactly.
And even if it does go through that we lose this local control, this doesn't stop that.
Right,
This is just expressing to Governor Whitmer and all the representatives that Milan Township does not want local control to be taken away.
exactly.
The MTA don't either.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh,
Any other questions, concerns?
no,
I make a motion to accept, resolution number 2023-04, and to send it to, Lansing as a, expression of support to maintain local control.
I'll second that.
Before going further, motion stays on the floor.
Mhm.
So this resolution 2023-04.
04, yes.
Because we got 05 on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll change that.
All in favor to resolution number 2023-04? All in favor? Aye. We do a roll call on this.
I'll do a roll call, yep. Bogey, Supervisor Bogey,
Yes.
Clerk Stephanie, yes. Joel, Treasurer Joel,
Yes,
Trustee Mansack,
Yes,
and Trustee Straw is absent, or excused.
All right.
And then we just have an option if we have any issues that we wanted to bring up for any reason.
I got
I
nothing.
don't have anything.
I got nothing. Clerk, then up, treasurer. Older,
nope,
no,
staff. Nothing.
No.
Back to public comment, I guess.
Yeah. I can't believe you people are wasting your time with this. You know. The Democrats have both the House and the Senate. They have an agenda. And they're gonna run right over the top of you people. Why? Well, because you tried to stop progress. So now you're going to reap what you sow.
Anybody else?
I think it's important to keep local control. And I think it's with our duty to do that here.
Agree.
I agree that local control, this is just one step to take one thing away from you, or several things, and then it's gonna be something else, and then it's gonna be something else. I mean, it's no different than at the federal level, that we get stripped of one thing and then another thing. And I just heard today that they're talking about the housing issue, that they're gonna give control to our government where to place housing for all the illegal immigrants. And you know what, that's gonna be next. So it's gonna be a fight, and I disagree that, you know, we don't have a say. We do have a say, and if we do nothing, that means that we didn't give a shit. I mean, we can't say, well, we didn't try it all. I mean, we voiced our concerns. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, well, then they listen to what we had to say.
Can we find out if it takes the constitutional amendment?
Yeah, I'll double check that. Yeah.
I think it should.
Here,
I think it does. too.
I think a lot of people have said a lot of right things. I'm slow to change. You just heard me not want to adopt this because of its sweeping manner. So I'm looking at the map up there. We are a blank slate. I'm scared to death to be a blank slate for all the reasons that we just talked about here. Housing, this and that, whatever topic that we could throw out. My small feeling, whether I'm alive or dead, that as long as that is a blank slate and we haven't put a pawn or a chess piece on the board other than our conversation and printed paper, we're gonna be the people that are gonna get insulted in the next 20 years. When we look at our unions, which I'm not here to advocate a union, it's a voting process. It's supposed to be of the people. Because in my home, we were union and non-union, made for great dinner time talk. Just throwing us down and considering that we're not the world and putting us against our neighbors or a region or a district. Buying out farmland in my papers that I'm still paying for subscriptions for, so it comes to me at a cost. Maintaining a blank slate is no good for us people. It is going to cost us in the long run. And when the vote goes bigger than our sphere of influence, our 19,000 acres, our neighbors are going to be very happy to insult us rather than their own backyards. Our townships that are bordering us, our towns, the populace that's within 30 minutes of us. If we don't put chess pieces on this chessboard, that's going to cost the next guy that comes along money to buy out, to change. Buying out that footprint's nothing. My stuff at syndicates are going together, football players, basketball players, people that I didn't have in my mind that were going to show up to buy land. Talk about a small-minded thinking. I went through a life change in 21. I knew everybody that was going to buy a piece of the property that I sold. Was kind of joyous about it. Was going to watch their kids grow up on that property, was going to watch them prosper that property or whatever. It's just a life change. Too bad, so sad. Gary, go get a psychologist and go wear out another pastor. I get it. But you guys aren't looking at what just took place in my life. We keep saying no. to everything. On my 5 minutes up, I got 30 seconds. When somebody draws our resume. So when we hand out a Milan Township resume and say, can I be involved? Whatever that is. We're seen or will be seen, and people will be able to make a case that we are insubordinate. That we can't get along with one other idea in 40 years. That would be my only comment here. Name something. Don't even name anything because it'll drive everybody crazy on the web. Think of something in your mind and put it down there as a change. It does have to be dealt with by us, but it has to be dealt with by every other entity looking at a blank slate. If we don't put a blocker in line, our 1,600 souls, we are going to be able to look at our children or grandchildren and say, we deserve the right to be insulted. Because we are going to get insulted. To buy out every one of our other neighbors takes a whole lot more green than it's going to take to ramrod us. That's it, just a small futuristic consideration. I'd love to put some kind of a chess piece on the board any place, and I almost don't care what kind it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I still like to make one comment. You know, I have acreage here. Everybody's asked me to sign up for solar. And it'd be good for me, you know, be good for my kids, but I don't think it's good for our community. And I still think it's responsibility of people that live in Milan to make their decision. If they don't like this board, they can vote them out. So I'm saying it's up to the people that live here. If they don't want solar panels next to them, I asked my oldest son, I said, it'd be good for you if I sell this because you have a big legacy. He says, I don't want a big legacy. I want this farm to look like it looked. So it's up to the people here that live here that make that decision, not Lansing. And I'm not sure putting a piece on the board will make it any different. It's still up to the people. And if the people vote for something different, they can do it.
Anybody else? Positive?
Make a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 12:23.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wow, that's the. You didn't even talk.
Sound off.